Welcome everybody to another edition of the Liquor Talk Podcast. Got another guest with me. I got some drink for y'all. Get the brown liquor ready for you. For everybody that's tuning in on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and also now also the National Black God Podcast Network. But ladies and gentlemen, we got a guest today. She's podcasting out of the great state of New York, the Empire State. She is the host of the Chantizzy podcast. She had yours truly on recently, so now I'm returning the favor. Shan, welcome to Liquor Talk, and how you doing tonight?
Woo, 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 woo. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing
Super excited
amazing.
to be here.
Yes, super. I'm excited to have you on. I appreciate you for having me on your platform because not too many people in the podcast industry like to share their platforms. So I do want to thank you and commend you for sharing your platform with me. And now I'm here to return the favor. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Tell the people about the Chantizzy podcast.
Yeah. So my name is Chantel, aka Chantizzy. I have a podcast that I've been doing about 8 years now. I started in 2018 at my alma mater, SUNY Oswego. Go Lakers. And at this time, I really wanted to create a platform for college students so they would be able to kind of have like a life guide or advice or kind of like feel like they're doing it with a person at the same time, ultimately. Just advice on what that would look like, things of that nature. So I wanted to create this platform for Black women, but ultimately anybody in the notion of being a young, educated individual trying to navigate life after college and what that would look like. But ultimately, it turned to a platform that was unedited, unfiltered, and getting straight to the point about any topic necessary. I mean, it's allowed me to learn more about people's perspective, meet so many new and interesting creatives. And it also allowed me the opportunity to meet like-minded individuals like yourself. So something I've been doing for some time. It's my baby ultimately. And it's allowed me to have many other platforms such as Tizzy Talks, where I interview people about their dreams, and it pushed me into maintaining my own creative agency. So, I love it. I'm thankful that podcasting pushed me into this bubble. At the time I started podcasting, it wasn't as big as it is today. So I'm just really thankful that, the Chantilly podcast is what it is now, being able to speak to guests like yourself and get their opinions too. So it's a little bit about my platform.
That's real. Congrats on doing it for so long because I've been at it for a while myself. So I commend you for that, for keeping it going. So what made you decide to start a podcast a number of years ago?
Well, what really made me start trying to go forward and make the podcast is just having an area where I can really speak my spiel and really talk my SHIT, sugar honey iced tea for the lack of a better term. Um, and it allowed me that area to really be forthcoming. I got to get it off my chest, speak about so many topics that young individuals would face, from racism, from being turned in college but really having to hunker down and study when it was time to study, talking about relationships, whether it be friendships or intimate relationships, and what that looks like for a college student, but not only a college student, anybody in that demographic from 18 to 25, and just navigating life. And funny enough, at the school it was great. My first episode, I had over 400 listeners. I thought it was great at the time, especially when podcasting was something that everybody wasn't in tune with. It was amazing to see. I never thought that it would jump off that way. Nobody tells you about the maintaining after and what that looks like. But it really navigated me into a place to say, like, this is something I want to do. This is something that people want to hear and listen to. So that's what I ultimately went forward and continued on. And it's been fruitful. I mean, I have been able to maintain this podcast for almost 8 years next year, in April. So a couple months. And I'm just thankful. I mean, without this podcast, we wouldn't be here right now. I wouldn't be able to be courageous in other ventures I've done. So I'm excited. I love it. I can't lie and say this is something I don't want to do. It's my passion. I'm obsessed with it. So
Oh, I feel you. I feel you.
yeah,
Hey,
I mean,
you could
come
look up.
on.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can look at my catalog and tell I'm obsessed with it because, hey, we wouldn't be where we're at today if you're not obsessed with it. I definitely agree with all of that wholeheartedly. So, to the people who are looking to start a podcast, because I've had plenty of conversations with people who will tell me, "Oh, I'm looking to start a podcast. I want to get started in 2025 or later beyond. I want to have everything together and stuff." What would your advice be to people who who are young and are looking to start a podcast and are looking to get their voice out there? What are your advice to be to any of those people?
Absolutely. My advice would be just start always. Don't look for other people to push you in that bubble. If you really want to do it and it's something that's a passion of yours, you would have started it already. Wouldn't have to look for people to push you or cheer you on. Because in the creativity game or being a creative, it's a lonely life, for lack of a better term. It's going to be days where you have zero likes on a photo or a video, or your zero likes on your content. And there's going to be a day where you have a million likes on your content. Make sure you have the same passion either day. Love what you do. That's another piece of advice. And I will also say, find your niche or your niche. I like to say niche, but find your niche and what it is that you love to do, and bring it forth to people who also have that same passion. Just because other people are doing it doesn't mean you can't. Community over competition is something I've been very heavy on. And when I say community over competition, just because McDonald's is a restaurant, that doesn't mean Wendy's isn't flourishing. That doesn't mean Burger King isn't flourishing, Popeyes, KFC. So don't think the market is saturated because there's so many other people doing it. Somebody's just waiting for your platform to come out. And there's somebody there looking to relate and compare to your platform. So just do it. Don't let any negativity sway you from doing what you love. And if it's something you can talk about for hours, if this is a podcast where you have a real heavy passion as far as your topics and the conversations you have, or the niche you're embedding yourself into, it's fruitful. You will be able to eat off of your product, for lack of a better term. And what I mean eat is be very happy in what it is you do. So yeah, just
Yes.
start. Don't let anybody hold you back.
Yes, please just start. And I don't care. People want to say, "Oh, it's gotta be perfect and stuff." Man, fuck being perfect. Just go
I
ahead and
agree with
start
that
because if
entirely.
you sit around waiting for it to be perfectly perfect, you know what? You'll never get started. So at some point, you just gotta
Never.
have the hunger and the heart to go ahead and get started, and you just gotta keep going because we won't be here today. We got two cribs that's been in the game for over 7 years that's talking to you right now. So we wouldn't be here if we didn't just get started. So
From
yeah, I'd
depth in
rather
the
you go
game.
ahead and get started and listen and just deal with the ups and downs because you're going to learn. It's always a learning process. So, what's something
Absolutely.
about podcasting you wish you would have known before you got started?
Oh man, these are such good questions. If I knew one thing about podcasting before it started, being consistent. I would say that's something that I wish I would have known beforehand. And what I mean by being consistent is knowing when you're about to start and push this platform out to the people. Don't be mad when the people are requesting it more consistently. Don't be afraid as well that you have to just put anything out. Take your time. And what I mean by push anything out, I feel like a lot of people feel like when they get into podcasting, it's the flow of the people, or it's the flow of how you feel, what you see other creatives doing. Go with your own flow. Your podcast audience may love an episode once a month. Your podcast audience might want an episode once a week. Your podcast audience may want an episode once every 3 months. Your platform may want an episode every day. Find what goes with your flow, ebb, for lack of a better term. Make sure you're having your ebbs and flows. You're not in an area where you're just putting content out and you're exhausting yourself to the point where you're like, all right, this is not fun anymore. I don't want to do it. Because a lot of things they don't tell you is that you get to that point with any
Mm-hmm.
creativity or any platform you do. Like, there's so many times I wanted to quit. It's so funny. Before meeting creatives like yourself, I was thinking of doing an entire rebrand and totally shifting from podcasting because it wasn't something that I saw progressing at the time, because again, I wasn't consistent. So I wish if somebody would have sat me down at the time and said like, hey, this is something that you have to put your heart into. It has to be a passion. It has to be something you're willing to sit around and talk about. It's going to be times you're uncomfortable. If somebody sat me down, I wouldn't have looked at podcasting at any time and like, I want to quit. But the fact that I didn't have that, it put me into an area of being overwhelmed with the platform. What allowed me to continue on was just being able to have feedback from, your audience, them telling you, hey, I love this episode. Hey, I thought this was funny that your guest said that. And just having that feedback and just having that community pushed me to continue to be consistent. So I would say make sure that the three things I would say, my big three, is making sure you're in tune with your audience, getting that feedback. I wish they would have told me that. Um, Make sure you're being consistent. And three, if you're doing any episodes, especially with a co-host, I would definitely suggest what they would tell you beforehand is make sure somebody who's really passionate about it, like yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
make sure you're starting a platform that you're introducing yourself first if it's not consistency on guests. I remember my first three podcasts I had, my sister, one of my college friends who till this day we're super close. And then my other friend as well, who, we faltered off as friends, but now we're getting back. And, everybody wanted to hear from them after my fourth episode. Like, where's your co host? And it's like, no, this is my platform. They were just guests for, the first few episodes. But that kind of put me in a marker too, because it was like, oh, these aren't your guests. These aren't people who you are working with on a consistent basis. So, what am I listening to? So just also make sure you know what you want for your platform early, because when you shift, it can be a lot for not only your listeners, but for your topics as well. Because we could talk all day about relationships, but how can I speak all on relationships if I don't have anybody to piggyback off of or give feedback to? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, those would be my big three slash
I
three and
feel
a
you
half.
there. No, I feel you there. Sometimes you got to piggyback off yourself solo, and this is where you hope that people listen and people can
Right.
comment and give you your opinion, give you their opinion. And also, I totally feel you on the co-host thing. Because back in the first two seasons of Liquor Talk, I had regular co-hosts. One of my first co-hosts, we still keep in touch to this day. We're still cool. But the second co-host, this person, I didn't think you could downgrade, but this person was a downgrade. Um,
Yeah.
no shade, nothing like that. But
No, I
it's
don't think of
like,
that shade at all, especially when it comes
but
to a creative.
yeah,
You got to have that feedback,
yeah, you
for
got to,
sure.
and also you got to be knowing the self evaluation as well. And also, when people treat your platform like it's a chore, that's when they gotta go. So I had to.
Absolutely.
I feel you. I definitely feel you on having the co-host as well. But then after it was during season 2, I realized this is so much better when I have somebody that's not local on. I mean, yeah, I did have somebody from Tampa on earlier this season, but when it's people that what I found is people that aren't in your neck of the woods, they will show up for you faster than compared to somebody that is in your neck of the woods.
Oh my goodness, that makes me want to add to my background as far as like what advice I would have. That too, please don't expect support from friends or family. Do not expect it. Not saying that they can't or they won't. They will, but do not expect that support every time. Expect the support from, like you said, John from Raleigh, North Carolina. Expect that support from Amber in Santa Clarita, California. I was
Mm-hmm.
so shocked my first two seasons on the support I got from people outside of my comfort zone. I mean, the first 2 years of my podcast, I was reaching people in Ireland. I was reaching people in England, and I was just so shocked. And even though it was 2%, 3% of my overall demographic, just to be able to appeal to somebody all the way across, for lack of a better term, the pond, but somebody in another country, another continent, somebody who possibly doesn't even relate to what I relate to, and as far as like topics or vernacular or things of that nature, but
Mm-hmm.
they make sure they listen every time. So just to like piggyback off your point, yeah, make sure you know that your audience can be anybody. Don't expect family and friends to always listen or tune in or be the one to share. That stranger will always do it for you though. So I want
Mm-hmm.
people to know that as well. Don't be abrasive to strangers. Strangers could really put you in a bubble where you're
Mm-hmm.
elevated.
Yes, strangers will help you elevate faster than people you know. And also, while we on the
Exactly.
international thing, it's like you talk about having listeners. Try having people that are international that want to teach you on their platform, or they want to
Exactly.
come on your platform from different countries. Like that's the beautiful thing about technology, man. Because I was able to talk to
Totally
somebody
agree.
in Italy, earlier this year.
That's
So, uh,
amazing.
yeah, so it can happen, but I wouldn't have known that if I wouldn't be consistent. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Liquor Talk. The more you drink, the better we sound. All right, grown folks, I hope y'all enjoying this conversation. Shan, what is your favorite kind of liquor?
Oh my gosh, and don't laugh at me, okay? Because I'm not. I was a girl in college. I drank, but as I've gotten older, I'm a mimosa girly all the way. Give me some bubbles and some orange juice, some cranberry. I love a mimosa. But if I'm out with the girls, we're not talking any soft drinks, no wine, no champagne. I would have to say tequila. I mean, that's the ultimate grown people drink. Well, at least that's what my grown people are drinking around me. But I'm
I'm
always
not
gonna
even
go
gonna
with
lie to you.
tequila.
Yes, I agree. I know so many people that are on the tequila vibe that are just,
Oh yeah,
um,
very heavy right
uh,
now.
yes,
I
I
don't
know
know if you've
some
seen the
people.
video of the guy with the little Don Julio bottle, and he's like
Uh
Don
huh.
Julio. That's a New York thing. I mean, that's the summer we were Don Julio down. So I mean, that's the vibe this year. I mean, we've been on a tequila wave the past 4 summers. We've had our Casamigos, we've had our Patron, we've had our, you know, uh, Kevin Hart liquor too. I believe it's called Dos Toros, if I'm not wrong. But yeah, I mean, then we had our De Leon summer. No Diddy, but
Yeah.
tequila's been a big thing in the city for the past 4, 5 summers. So we're big tequila over here. Henny hasn't been drinking since the pandemic, but we started it off with the Don Julio, the big bottle, the Azul, the 1942. So you know, yeah, we've been tequilaed out. But
I
I'm
feel
always
it.
gonna go with a mimosa.
Yes. Yes, mimosas do hit though. Mimosas do hit,
They
especially
do.
when you're at brunch on like a good
Oh, love
Saturday
a
or
brunch.
Sunday brunch.
Of
Good
course.
flight of mimosas, yeah, that definitely
And
hit
don't let it be
differently.
spring either. And it's gorgeous outside. Don't let it be spring or like early fall. Oh man. It's like the liquor drinks you at that point. Nice vibe, nice
Yeah.
surroundings, nice aesthetic. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
the
can't
big
wait for it to be a mimosa summer.
See, that's the beautiful thing about me living in Florida. Like when it's not cold outside, everybody be on the
Oh yeah.
mimosas and stuff.
Shove it
So
in our face. It's probably like 80 right now out there, huh?
wrong. It's like 75. You're off by five.
Oh well, it's 75 out here too, at least for like 4 hours throughout the day. Right now it's probably like a good 42, but yeah, we
Woo!
get our little Florida wave during the afternoon, but it's getting cold up here. Yeah. Snow will be
Yeah,
here soon.
and watch. I'm gonna see all them damn New Yorkers flock down to Florida because it's
Oh
so damn
yeah.
cold.
Be
I already
nice.
know it.
Be nice
I'll
and
try.
chill.
I will try to be nice, except for some New Yorkers don't know how to drive. Though I ain't gonna lie to you.
Oh my goodness. Full transparency, I can agree. As a New Yorker, we cannot drive. Not me. As a monolith, yes, I agree New Yorkers can't drive. But can we talk about the Floridians driving and how you guys feel like you're on a spaceship going
Hey, we be
95 down the
riding.
highway?
Hey, we be riding, but we don't fuck around. We try to get to our destination
Yeah,
and get done.
before the destination is done. Yes, you guys are getting there before your destination gets there. You're there 5 minutes ahead of the destination being there. Like you get there and then the time loads and then the destination on Google Maps appears because Floridians, I don't know what it is with you guys, but the way y'all be skirting and straight
Yeah,
down, I mean,
because if we don't drive like that, we're gonna be sitting in traffic. And who the hell
I get
wants to
that.
sit in traffic?
I mean, it's so crazy because regardless, you guys just have traffic. Like, I was literally PTSD, PTSD from living in Miami for 8 months, 9 months. There was never a day there wasn't traffic. Then at no time, no day, there was never, like, I don't know, 7 in the morning, traffic, 7 at night, traffic. I'm like, New York does have that issue as well. But if I go out at 12 o'clock on the 812 or whatever you guys call your interstates and highways, there's still traffic. It doesn't matter what
Yeah,
time, and it's
because
shocking.
you got to realize people in Miami like to go out. Everybody in Miami, they going out. They going to Miami Beach, or
But it's
they're
like,
going to
why is there 90
Wynwood.
bridges? Why is there 90 bridges? Like, why do I need to take a bridge to go to one part of Miami to another part? I'm downtown. Why do I have to take a bridge to go to Brickell? Like, that was my thing. We're right across from each other. Why is there a bridge? But that's Florida's construction. I'm no one to judge. New York has literally four bridges and 80 million cars every day. So, no judgment there. But it's like, man,
Yo,
you guys are just
y-
infrastructure, is just money is no issue to you.
yeah.
Bridges everywhere.
Speaking of infrastructure, why up in New York? I remember one time I remember seeing it every day. Like they just writing tickets for no reason. I'm like, God damn. They
You clock
stay out
in.
there. I've seen them
Yep.
at 9 to 10 o'clock writing parking tickets. I'm like, God damn, let the people vibe. This is 9 to 10 o'clock at night.
The best part is our mayor, the current mayor we were talking about before, Mayor Adams. They installed cameras, so like speeding cameras. You can't go over 25. At first, it would be during school hours from like 7 a.m. to about 9 p.m., more or less. Now they're 24 hours. So it don't matter if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, you got to get home. You're speeding down Nostrand Avenue, it's over for you. Click, 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 click. And it doesn't even have to, this is the pettiest thing about New York. It doesn't have to be 50, it doesn't even have to be 40. They will snap you going 31 and a 25. 6 miles over. They do not care.
Damn, that is petty.
Very. I remember I had to fight a ticket one time. I was going 30 and a 25. And I'm like, I was just going five. I was just going two over. It wasn't that big a deal. They wrote me back and said, no, actually, you were going five over. The speed limit is 35. You have to pay this ticket. And they will dispute with you. You'll dispute it and they'll send photos, the whole nine. Like New York, if you love money and you love having money in your pocket, don't move to New York. Just stay in the comfort of your money saving state. Because New York, you will
Hon-
go outside and be taking $100 automatically.
honestly, honestly, I want to agree with you, but I can't because this damn economy. It's like it's expensive for everybody. Because Florida's just
Yeah.
as bad. It's expensive as hell for everybody. Outside,
Oh,
it just
listen,
costs
Florida
a
is
whole
very
lot for
expensive.
everybody.
Yeah. And you're in Tampa, you said, right? Tampa's one of those cities I see on TV. You guys look very well put together, small community. Everybody knows everybody.
Shit. It
Mm.
used to be like that, but Tampa
Now it's
started
shifting.
blowing up, and now everybody's showing up, and everybody driving up the cost of everything. So
Well,
Tampa is
yeah.
catching up to Miami.
Oh, wow. But then again, you guys did have that Tom Brady move. So, I mean, I'm just saying. Tom
That's
Brady
true.
did
That's
play for
true.
the Buccaneers. He did his numbers. I mean, that's what really put Tampa on the map for me. I was like, of course you hear about the Tampa Bay, the baseball team.
hmm
Not the
The
They used to be the Marlins, but they moved to
No, the
Miami, right?
Marlins are in Miami, and Tampa got the Rays.
Right. I'm sorry. Yes, the Tampa Bay Rays. My apologies. But I'm like, man, like you guys. I mean, I've never been to Tampa. I've always wanted to go. I also want to go to West Palm Beach. I feel like those are the more grown and sexy areas of Florida in comparison to Miami. But I mean, once you've seen one Floridian city, I'm assuming they're all the same. I've been to
Most of them are
Orlando
the
too.
same and
Yeah,
stuff.
right. Same water, same beach. Of course, the cute little bistros, the bougie girlies. Just it's a lifestyle in Florida. Like you guys, one thing I say about Floridians, no matter what part of Florida you're in, you have the highty tighty and then a hoity toity, and then you got the real writers. So
Yeah,
very similar to New York. So I mean, same culture, but yeah, I mean, Florida's
yeah.
nice. I liked it, but I know you need to have some money on to be in Florida to be totally transparent.
Honestly, the way this economy's been looking, you gotta have money for everywhere, not just Florida. And
It's true. It's
also,
true.
we got all the retired New Yorkers that come down to Florida, or the young New Yorkers as well that just get tired of being in New York. They come down to
Yes.
Florida as well, and they go hard. That's why whenever a New York team plays in Florida, whether it's Tampa, Miami, Orlando, or even Jacksonville, New Yorkers will show up. I'm like, I respect the loyalty, New York. I really do. I really can
And it's
respect
so
the loyalty.
crazy. And don't judge me on this, but I am not loyal to any New York sports teams. Baseball, yes, of course. Baseball is a staple in New York. You have to be loyal to the New York baseball teams, like have to. So I'm a Yankees fan and a Mets fan. But when it comes to basketball and
Well,
football, mm-mm.
I'm
I am
damn.
not
So
a
you're
Knicks
not a
fan.
Knicks
I am
fan?
not a Jets fan. I am not a Giants fan. I am an Eagles fan and I am a Lakers fan. Yeah. And I'm also a Cardinals fan. Yeah.
Wow.
No loyalty. I know. Oh my gosh, yeah. But why would I want to support teams that have never won since Eli Manning was on the roster or other people were on the roster? I mean, look at us. We gave up Geno Smith, and look, he's killing it on the Seahawks. So, eh,
Yeah.
mm, look at Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers. We have
That.
two of a squad right now. We have Aaron Rodgers and we have Devontae Adams. And what are we doing? We're starting to win games now. But I can't. I'm sorry. I hate the hopeful comeback story. I'm tired of that. I'm so tired of that. I want to get with a team who wins. Yeah.
I feel
And
you.
it's
I
kind
feel
of
you.
sad Texas representing New York. Just saying. Like, just saying. Just saying.
Hey, I can respect the honesty. I definitely respect the honesty. I'm sorry about your two New York baseball teams. They both lost to the LA Dodgers. One lost in one round, the other one lost in the damn World Series. So
Please,
I'm
DJ,
like,
I don't want to talk about that. We're still feeling that loss entirely. We are hurting. The city is hurting. The city is in pain. We are in shambles. That's why we took our Liberty win. And oh yeah, well I support that basketball team, the WNBA team,
yeah, yeah.
the New York
Shout out to New
Liberty.
York.
But
Shout out to Liberty. They did their thing.
when I mean, our mascot is the best, Ellie the elephant. I mean, where else can you have a mascot that eats up to as much as a team? So, but as far as like that orange and blue, that white and blue, khaki white and blue, yeah, we no
Yeah,
thank
well,
you.
at least my baseball team. I don't know where the hell they gonna play at because Florida got hit with a hurricane, and when the hurricane
Yes.
it took the roof off the stadium. So I don't even know where the hell the Rays gonna play at. I really don't know where
Oh
the hell they gonna play at next year. So I don't
man,
even
and the
know.
Rays are one of those teams that doesn't. No, I think that's the Marlins. Doesn't Derek Jeter own like a minority in the Rays? If I'm not
Derek
wrong.
Jeter, no, Derek Jeter used to own a minority of the Marlins. I think he
Okay, I
sold it
thought it
since.
was it.
So he
Okay.
used to own that majority. So he sold it off. But the disappointing thing about the Rays is they've always been ass. But then when we somewhat good, we lose in the championship round. I'm like, son of a bitch. So we lost to the Dodgers too. So don't feel bad. We
I
lost to
mean,
the
LA
Dodgers
is
as
just
well.
doing their thing. Shohei Ohtani, I mean, he's been on his BS. I mean, can't be mad at that. What I'm mad about though, very similar to what you said you're mad about your teams about, just taking it all the way and then falling short. The Knicks have done it, the Jets have done it, the Giants have done it, the Mets and the Yankees have done it. I'm just tired of that narrative. I'm tired of taking it all the way there to just sit down and like it gets
Yeah,
old
that's what
tired.
Yeah, that's why I look at the Miami Heat. I'm like, if y'all go get to the damn championship round, take it all the way. Goddamn, don't lay
Win it.
down and look like
Yeah.
ass.
I
So
mean, you could continue to do that. It let us a ring, so we're thankful. But
man, shit. I I'm down
got
here.
my
I'm like,
Lakers.
we need another ring somewhere. I don't
No,
know
you
where.
guys definitely do. I would definitely give the Miami Heat their credit. They're definitely on this area of like being that comeback team. Jimmy Butler is definitely doing numbers. What's his name? Bam Adebayo, I believe his name
No,
is.
Bam Adebayo.
Bam Adebayo, excuse me, Bam Adebayo. He's doing his numbers. You got Tyler Herro. You got a squad. I mean, it's not anything
Yeah,
that's so out of the
and
ordinary,
then
but
also, then you come up north to Orlando. I'm looking at the Magic. They have a squad too. They have a young squad, but their best player just got hurt. So
who
speedy
isn't it?
recovery. Yeah, this guy named Paulo Banchero, guy out of Duke.
Oh,
He was balling, but he got hurt as well. I'm like, God damn, Magic.
it's heartbreaking. Trust me, I get it. Like you said, New York teams. I know people were feeling the same way when Julius Randle got hurt. So I mean, New York, I mean, love my city, born and raised, but I wouldn't be a true New Yorker if I didn't critique my city. We need to do better on the sports infrastructure. We got all these stadiums that are known for these amazing concerts and being these powerhouses, and then you got teams that are sugar honey iced tea playing for them and representing. I mean, Madison Square Garden. the iconic Madison Square Garden, the iconic
Um,
MetLife, Citi Field, Yankee
yeah.
Stadium. Like, I mean, come on.
Listen,
I'm not too happy.
hey, I gotta say cheers to that too, because I'm down here in Florida and I'm not too happy with my teams as well. So like,
Look, we have the
uh,
Bills representing us. The Bills. You know how far Buffalo is away from New York City? 9 hours. So,
oh
yeah,
shit, Buffalo is
yeah.
that far from New York?
Yeah, from the
Damn,
city, it's about 7.5 to 8 hours for sure. Yeah. So if I even
damn,
wanted to be a Bills fan, am I going to games every weekend? No way. How? How so? And then it's
damn.
Buffalo. Like it's snowing all the time. So it's like, yeah, that's the
That's
beauty of New
far.
York. Yeah.
That is definitely far. But wow.
Buffalo
Uh,
is our Tampa of New York, and Miami is the New York City. Not in a negative way, just like as far as like city circumference being the next major city in our state, it
mm-hmm,
would be Buffalo, Syracuse, New York City, and Albany. Albany's our capital, but yeah,
mm,
it's
wow.
it's a city. It's a city.
Yeah, it's definitely
But
a
one thing
city.
I will say, we do get 4 seasons in 1 week, so no other state does that. So we're thankful for that. We could get an 80-degree day, might get us a 40-degree day, might go outside, it's snowing in the morning, come outside, it's 90 degrees, you know. I mean, I don't know if that should be scary, but I mean, keeps us on our toes. So
It happens. It happens. Trust me, it happens in Florida. We'll get 4 seasons in one day. Sometimes it'll start
I
off
can
40
relate.
degrees, and then look up by 3 p.m. It's about 80. I'm like, God damn, Florida, shit.
That happened to me. I was out there Christmas 2022 and told my partner like I want a hot little Christmas. I'm from New York. We have cold Christmas every year. I was shocked when I went outside at 6 o'clock at night and it was 40 degrees in Doral, Florida. I said, I didn't even know Florida could get this cold. It was a shock to me. I didn't even know you guys dipped below 65. So when I saw a 40-degree day, it was something very scary to me. At least in Florida. At least in Florida.
Yeah. No, I
At least in
feel you.
Florida.
Listen, that's what many people. That's the common thing people don't realize about Florida is there are different parts. Now down in Miami, we could probably say okay, they it's always warm, but like go up north between Tampa and like Jacksonville, oh, it gets cold. It definitely gets cold. So know what part of
Yeah.
Florida you're going to because it will definitely get cold on you if you don't know
Well,
what part of Florida you're going to.
well, I didn't even know Disney got cold until I was in Disney in January and I was in a coat at Magic Kingdom. So, yeah, Florida has shocked me more than enough times. I mean, shorts to a Sherpa. I mean, in 2 seconds. So, yeah.
I feel you. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is Look at Talk. I hope you guys are enjoying this conversation. Pour up some look if you haven't done so already. All right. Chan, what we're gonna get to one thing that I heard of. Now some people talk about certain careers that if a person was doing this career, if somebody was a nurse or somebody worked at Walmart or somebody worked at certain careers, that they would not date them or take them seriously in a relationship. So what are some careers that's like an automatic red flag that you're like, oh, I don't need to hear. I really don't want to talk to you.
Truthfully, and it has nothing to do with anybody's position because anybody can be upgraded as far as like working, starting somewhere and then working somewhere later down the line. There's no, me personally, if I give the doorman the same respect as the CEO. And I say that in reference of just a Walmart job that you gave an example of. Yeah, I could meet you working as an associate at Walmart, but 10 years later, you can be a store manager. 20 years later, you can be head of your own department or franchise, So I don't like to red flag any careers, but if I could red flag a few careers, this is more centric to New York City. I would definitely red flag MTA. If you work at MTA, super red flag. Corrections, New York City corrections, extra, extra super red flag. And then I would say third, the NYPD. If you are a cop in New York City, reddest flag in the entire world. And those are my three red flags as far as positions. So a correction officer, a police officer, um, a train operator or working, train operations. And then I would say number four, and I'm going to get slapped for this, but if you're a teacher, and this is preferential to my demographic, my city, but those are the four red flags to me. Do I have to explain why they're red flags or no?
Please do, because not all of us live in New York. So I'm really trying to figure out how the hell is the damn train operator a red flag? They just run the damn train. Like, what did they do?
All I'm saying is it's all in the syllables. It's all in the notion of the demographic and the industry they work in, trains, construction. I mean, you you read in between the lines. Me personally, I have a friend who was dating somebody in MTA, and that person was very loquacious with their legs.
Mm.
If that's a good um, explanation. Yeah, there's a lot of people in transit who are just doing their thing. Yeah, I mean, you got to come to New York to see. There's only so much I could really say, and not like that, no shade or anything. It's just like you got to be in those careers to see teachers. I would say because the teachers in New York City, the world is so small. Everybody knows everyone, like literally. Like New York City public schools is a cult, not like in a negative way, but just a cult. Like everybody knows everybody. They're all clicked up because they work for the city within education, so they all know each other. I would say police because it's just. I mean, if you saw the "If I Were a Boy" video with Beyonce, that kind of alludes to the NYPD. Ultimately, it's too many stories. Way too
Oh,
many stories.
I've definitely seen stories about New York City police being underhand. I
Yes.
saw the movie American Gangster. I saw that
Oh yeah.
half them
Yeah,
damn
yeah.
cops were on the drugs as well.
Yes, yes, of course. And then also onto drug kingpins and ladies and New York cops are, when they say LAPD is the biggest gang, if they're the biggest gang, NYPD must be the most like steel iron push through gang. I mean, NYPD for years has always had this stigma of, just being hardworking employees, which they are. But once you get to that position, once you're in that area of working hard and being this close with your brothers in blue, sisters in blue, what's to stop you from now, you know, having the milk and the cow?
I
But
feel
that's
you.
just some careers I feel are red flags for me personally. I wouldn't date, but that I
Yeah.
personally would not. But there's a few. There's a few. Now I gotta ask you, what are your red flag industries?
Um. Now I normally want to have a red flag. The number one red flag for me is if you don't have an industry. If you just laying
Clock
up on
it.
the couch not doing nothing, that would be my number one. But
See,
number
BJ,
two,
I don't even think about that because it's like that doesn't even cross my mind. I know for sure I
yeah,
would never be with no person not working or
yeah,
or have no
because
drive. Yeah.
Yeah, because and it's like, but I will also say, no one probably the damn strippers because it's like you don't know you don't know, you just don't know. Like you might be talking to somebody as an entertainer, but you don't know what y'all got going on because somebody could just flash some money at you and then all bets are off. And so I don't know. I don't know what your mindset is. And the other one I would definitely say is nurses as well because you don't know what they be doing. You know they be working them long ass days and stuff. And I've
I
seen
can
some
agree
stories
with
about
that.
nurses, that people in the healthcare industry, whether it's nurses or doctors, they've been getting around. And I even saw somebody shoot a TikTok. The guy shot a TikTok of being with. He's a nurse, and he's being a side man to a fellow nurse. I'm like,
Oh
wow,
no. See,
this is what
yeah,
we doing.
I can agree with the profession of a professional pole dancer, whatever have you, whatever the political term is, but stripper, yes. You have to be very strong, I believe, to date a stripper, and strong in a sense of, like you said, anybody flashing money, anybody feeling comfortable disrespecting your lady. Like strip clubs are one of those. Not only for like the physical aspect, but even the mental aspect of it. I give those girls credit because it's like where do you find a secure man within aspects of not having to worry about dealing with that? But also in the same breath, how do you find a woman who can do her job and go home? And what does that look like?
For
Can they
real.
ever really do their job and just go home, or when do I as a partner step in when is someone being disrespected, or my partner being disrespected, or what that means for me, like so I can agree with that as far as the stripper goes. The nurse, I've heard about the nurses too. Unfortunately, as far as one of the industries that are very questionable. I haven't seen
Yeah,
any on my end because I'm not really in proximity to anybody in the healthcare field, as long as at least not nurses. Doctors, yes. Surgeons, yes. Anesthesiologists, yeah. But as far as like nurses, no. But I have heard a lot of details about how they go, the stigmas behind it. Of course, I'm driving the Ultima, or having the short
yeah,
haircuts or the bobs, so definitely some stigmas that go along with it. So definitely understand those as well.
yeah. And also, I'll give
I
you
think
another
where we
one.
both come from.
Um, um, I would give one to like people that are like flight attendants and stuff, or pilots, because
True.
you don't know, because they be
How
flying
can you
all
keep
across
up
the
with it?
country.
Right, right. How can you keep up? I don't know. You're in Morocco right now. You could tell me you're in a hotel, but I don't know what you're doing. I'm not calling
I
you
don't know if you sleep
international.
with somebody on your crew or not, because hey,
That
if you're
too. A
around
pilot.
somebody, yes, if you're around somebody long enough, then hey, it can have all bets off, because especially
Hmm.
when you're working long days and stuff at certain jobs, so it's like all bets are off, because you just never know.
True.
But talking about people out there, don't just go out there and date and be loyal, no matter what their career profession is, no matter what it is,
That's super
because
important. I agree with that. I feel like being loyal in this generation is, very important because, I mean, this is not our mom and dad age. It's not our grandma and grandpa age. We're dating now. You know what I mean? Dating, we're not just dating for longevity. There's a few of us who are dating for fun. There are a few of us dating to really get to know our partner. And, back in the day, it was dating to marry, it was dating to set, future stigmas and standards within your lifestyle. And I just feel like you said, everybody should be upfront what it is they want from dating from the beginning. I feel like that's super important, especially when it comes to detailing what's next, for you and that person. But I feel like that's the issue right now. Nobody's honest. If I'm taking somebody on a date and I know I want to use this man for food, why am I not telling him, hey, I'm here for the food, but if we catch a vibe, I'm cool? Why does it have to be dinner, that a man pays for, that he just met you at? If you're there for the vibe and you're there for enjoying yourself and getting to know the person, why
mm-hmm,
are we not both having money? And this comes into the conversation of 50-50. I think 50-50 works for
yes.
people who it works for. I think 50-50 works for mature people as well who understand how the world works. But those people who don't know how to, because a lot of people think when it comes to 50-50, they're talking about money. No, no, no. We're talking about everything. When you're looking for a partner, 50-50 should be a conversation you should be having. And I'm tired of this stigma of men should be paying all the bills. Like, I would not, in full
Thank
transparency,
you.
no, I don't.
Fucking
I don't.
thank you.
I don't think men should be
Thank
paying all
you.
your bills. I have a dad, I have a grandpa, I have a brother, I have a boyfriend, I have five uncles, I have one uncle. You understand what I'm saying? And not saying like that's anything to like brag about for people who may not, but when I say that, I mean I understand a male's perspective as well too. All of these men in my family, they provide. My dad provides for my mom, my grandpa for my grandmother, my boyfriend for me. But what type of person, if this is my partner, if this is my long term person, in what world will I allow my partner to pay all my bills and just have money for frivolous, sassafras and frivolousness? Yeah, I think women should go forward and have a man, maintain them when they can't. Like, if I don't have money for my nails, if my partner wants to be like, here's money for your nails, I think that's not an issue. My hair, that's not an issue. But every week, every day, me putting my hand out for a man, I don't know. I've never been that woman. So
You
I
know
don't
what?
understand why that's such a stigma for women now to be having their hands out to random men they know they don't like, men they don't see a future with, or men they eventually will get to a point of having kind of like a contempt for. So I don't know. I don't engage in those conversations. I actually hate hearing about women talking about, no, a man should pay all my bills. In what world? In what world?
Yes. In what world? In
In
what
what world?
fucking world? You
Yeah.
are a real one. You are like the real MVP right about now, because
Mhm.
I remember dated somebody that were, they were, despite the fact that they had a rich ass dad. they were still looking at the man like, I need this man to provide for me. I
No,
need this man to do this, need to do that. Like, but
I
here's the
don't.
crazy thing: they
Yeah.
will have these demands, but they ain't offer. But what the fuck can you do for me
See, and
besides
that be the
give me some ass? Like ass isn't everywhere. What can you
And
do for
that's the
me?
issue. I'm so happy you brought this up, VJ, because a lot of people, especially women, they feel like their 50-50 is opening their legs, giving small suppository gifts, things that are really not in the element of doing what it needs to do for their partner. And why I say that is because I mean, yes, your man can pay for your nails, your hair, buy you this car, do all of this. What are you doing in return for him? Laying on your back? Where's his gifts in return? Are you paying for his haircut? Are you getting him a car because he got you a car? Are you going forward and making sure, if you're not able to do things financially, you're doing things that are, domesticated? Like, all right, I don't have enough money to get you the car you want, but I went forward and made you a meal. I know, that's how you couldn't make food after work today. Or I did your laundry. I know you need your uniform ready for work. Or, I took your car to get gas because I know you drive back and forth every day and I didn't want you to have to miss out on 15 minutes of sleep because, you had to go to the gas station early in the morning. These are just little things women can
Yes.
do. And those are not even on their men's mind. I remember one time, because of course, with them women, you get into these debates and when you're young minded, because at the time, me and my partner have been dating for 5 years. But when we first started dating, I would always ask him, well, why you don't do this? Why you don't do that? I remember one time I was like, why don't you buy me flowers? And he literally looked me in my eye and was like, Chantel, you don't even like flowers. And it was such like an eye opener for me, like as far as like, he's right, I don't like flowers. And then he was like, and if, you wanted me to buy flowers, what if I wanted flowers? Do you think of me in that element? And of course he didn't want flowers. But what he's saying is, if I'm able to think of you in a capacity you want me to think of, why can't you think about me in that same capacity? Why can't you go to
Mm-hmm.
Walmart and say, babe, I know you need undies or socks. Let me go pick up these quick little one, two, threes for you, But we're in a society of selfishness. The
Yes,
women
we are.
nowadays are a different breed. I was raised by a woman who was a baby boomer, not a baby boomer, Gen X, I believe. Yes, a Gen X. And then my grandparents are boomers, and then I have one grandfather who's pre-boomer. So things were very different. I watched my grandmother make sure my grandfather had a hot meal every morning when she got off work as a nurse. No, I thought that was funny. I'm
Wow.
just joking. um, but also, I also see my grandmother go forward and make sure his uniform was ironed for work at night. I watched my grandma make sure that my grandpa had a hot meal for dinner if he had her hot meal for breakfast. I've watched my grandfather make sure my grandmother is walking down a block not by herself. Just
Mm-hmm.
standard things you see growing up. So to me, it was never a man had to provide all because there was always a woman making sure her man was good as well. So this whole stigma of making a man pay for everything and do everything, no offense to the women who's doing it, but it gives me fatherless behavior. Because if
Yeah.
you understood a
Oh,
man and you had a
hello.
no, I think
Hello.
so because if you've had a man around you your whole life and you've seen healthy relationships between a man and a woman, why do you feel like you always see a man providing for a woman? And if you always see that, why is your mom not sitting you down to sit there and say, like, even though your father pays this, this is how I pay him back, or this is the mental support I give him, this is the emotional support I give him. You don't hear about none of those things. All you hear is a man should be paying my rent, he should be getting my nails done, my hair done, blah, blah, blah. And it's cool. It sounds good. It sounds very
Yep.
good in theory. But in practice, your man making sure you look good. Who's paying the bills? He's paying the bills too. So if he's paying the bills and he's paying for you to stay right and tight, where does your money go? Is it into the house?
Hello.
Is it into going to being a homemaker? Is it going into feeding your partner? Is it going to the kids? Like, what do you think your money's going to? Yourself? Like, I just don't know. I hate the conversation surrounding,
Yeah.
and I hope this doesn't make me sound like a pick me, and I really don't care if it do, but when you're with a partner and you're with somebody you genuinely love, there's no way you're allowing your partner to spend all their money on you. There's no way. And if they are spending all their money on you, it in my book should be investments, business, things that y'all could grow to and together. It
Yes.
should never be just one person growth. But we are in hellish times right now, VJ.
Yes,
And
we
it's only
are.
getting worse. We're gonna have a society where women are not even dating men and not doing anything with them, and these incels will be paying their bills and not even seeing these women in life and not even touching them, just paying bills and continuing to fun lifestyles. And I
Yeah.
blame Drake. Just joking.
I blame all. I blame. Listen, I blame Drake. I blame the music industry because the
I
music
do.
industry will tell you one thing, but their lives they're doing something completely different. So
Completely different. And
it
then my thing is
it's crazy.
Drake, a man who's has $10,000 at his at his disposal, somebody who could just sit there and be like, $10,000, I'll get that back by breathing in the next 5 minutes. So it's like, do you really want the man you think you want who's just blowing money on you? Because now you have to ask, if he's paying all my bills and maintaining me, am I getting the same emotional regard from him? Is he taking me out on dates?
Hmm.
Is he going forward and making sure I'm okay? Is he picking up my phone calls? Is he coming to me in a hurry? God forbid something's wrong. These are questions women should be asking, but all that's on their mind is the bag, the money, the
You know
dinero,
what?
and
And
it's
that's
just
their
like,
and that's their downfall. And I'm about to fuck your mind up real quick because that's their
please do.
downfall. Is they'll be all about the money, but yet they will get mad if they find out that this man is cheating on them with another woman. And I guarantee the woman he ain't spent all that money on because she doing all the things you supposed to be doing. But yet y'all will get mad if you find out he got a side chick because you're not doing what you're supposed to do. Like all he doing is
Right.
paying for you, but the side chick it's like she doing everything you supposed to be
His
doing.
meals, making
So
sure
make
his
it
feet
make
are
sense.
massaged. Yep. And that's the thing too. And I don't think a lot of people understand this, but 9 times out of 10, a man is leaving or a man is my light just died. It was given so much flash, but a man who really cares for a woman genuinely. Well, what I was saying was 9 times out of 10, men are leaving women for another woman who's emotionally available. And a lot of women don't know that. A man is not leaving you because a woman looks better. A man is, and even if he is, I bet you 9 times out of 10 he's not leaving just because the woman looks better. I bet you that woman, the reason he's so open to her is because that woman asked him how his day was. That woman said, "Here you go. I noticed you
That
were
woman
hungry. Here's a
cares
piece
about
of cake."
him.
Right. It's so much deeper than money. It's an emotional connection now. And a lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people just look at it like, oh, he cheated because this woman's, her ass is fatter or she has bigger boobs or she's prettier. And it's like, yeah, maybe on the surface, but you really have to ask what made this man transition from somebody who knows him inside and out to somebody he has to meet again and meet in regards to introduce himself all over. And 9 times out of 10, it's because that woman sat down and listened to his demean to his demand. She sat down and was an ear at a tough time. And women don't realize that men look at us as emotional beings. Men look at us as people who can provide that emotional element when they
Hmm.
can't. And when you lose that, you kind of lose the man. You kind of get in
You
a
really
trouble where
do.
you're no longer in a stigma of providing for just you. You're now worried about having to really show yourself to your partner. And a lot of women don't know themselves first a lot of the time before dating a partner too. They go forward and expect a man to bring out who they are as a woman. And I feel like that's what's going on heavily today. Don't get me wrong, it's not a fairy tale that a man can't pay all your bills and be loving and this person. I'm sure there's men out there, but you have to ask, what am I doing to make that man show that side to me? Man is not just saying, oh, let me have money to blow and
Let me pay all
and
your bills.
lavish.
No,
Let
we're
me
not
eradicate
chasing
your
you for
life.
that.
Right.
No
We want
man
somebody
is
who, if
chasing.
I feel low, I can put my head on your chest and cry.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, I mean, but these are grown, like you said, this is a grown folks platform. These are grown folk conversations. Like you have this conversation with people who are younger, people who may not understand. It could go a whole different way. So it's
You
just
know what I've
crazy.
realized? I've realized no matter the age, it's like because there might be some women in their 40s and 50s talk about I need a man to pay all my bills. So it really
And
doesn't matter what
that's
age.
really me. That's
That's
what's
the one
so
thing I've
funny.
learned over the
People
years
don't.
is
And
it
no, no,
don't
no. And you're right, it doesn't, but I feel like at 40, 50, yes, you want a man to pay your bills. I feel like you're in that mindset because you're like, damn, I was in a place where a man wasn't paying my bills. Now I know for sure my next partner, I want somebody who can provide for me financially. But I hope it's no 40-year-old woman who has been doing this BS for the past 23, 24 years of her life, 30 years of her life, talking to a man, whatever, and dealing with a handout. Like, absolutely not. There has to be
You know
some
what?
maturity or some wiseness with age. If I see a 50-year-old woman right now talking about, I need a man to pay my bills, I need auntie, either you got the money and you just like, I must hold my money down for you, or auntie, you've been hurt too many times and now you feel like the only way you could get a
Or
man back is through his pocket. I don't know.
or maybe Auntie is probably dealing with the karma she's dealing with because she ignored the man that will probably pay her bills for the nigga
True.
who ain't doing shit, because that's what a lot of
Right.
women do. They will
Of
ignore the
course.
man who shows that sign that, hey, I will do what it takes and I will hold you down. For the nigga they know damn well all he can do is hold me down in the bedroom and that's it. That's all he good for. Let's
Yeah,
just be honest.
and to be transparent about these conversations, that does happen often, not only to women but to men too. And that's the crazy part about it. You have these men who are being approached by women who they could only see in their dreams, and not in a negative way, just more so like these are women who are just that, dreams, illusions. And they sit there and they put themselves in these bubbles of giving it all just to say that they're with the baddest or they're with this baddie, and then can't afford the baddie lifestyle. Don't get me wrong. There's women out there who will kiss the feet and the ground you walk on. But you have to make sure that that's the woman for you. Don't go chasing a baddie and then be shocked that she's asking you for a $5,000 Pilates class membership and she's asking you to go to Felipe Chow's every night. That's the type of woman you ask for. I feel like we have
Yeah.
to be realistic. Same with women though.
Mm-hmm.
There's baddie men too. There's men that's the greed up, suit and tie to every event, private clubs, private notions, you know, best watch on his wrist. But in the same breath, it becomes, is this somebody I know I can maintain? Is this somebody as a woman I know that I could keep up with? And, it's a lifestyle. Baddies come in both sizes, men and women. It's just
Yes.
about, can you maintain that lifestyle?
Yes, and can you maintain a lifestyle with or without somebody? Because hey,
Yep.
it's better to be like, hey, and what's bad about this generation of people is like they would rather be baddies on material shit and be like, instead of being like, hey, let's fuck up the game together, let's come together and make some shit happen. Like
And that's
let
the
a woman
issue.
tell me she wants to believe in my vision. Man, that's the one right there, because you need somebody that's gonna believe in your vision long term, or they see what you're doing, what you're grinding towards,
Or
and hey,
even
how
help you
can
with
I be
it.
an asset to that?
Right.
How
Exactly.
can
And
I
that's
add into that instead of
that's
what
the
can this do
issue.
for me?
That's the issue. Nobody looks at the values of a partner anymore. It's just like, what can you do for me and what can I do for you? It's like an exchange. And it's like, yes, that's what a relationship is ultimately, you and your partner between each other. But long term, it poses the question of, okay, if we keep giving to each other and doing what we need to do for each other, right? What else? What else? How are we upping each other? And my favorite example is, I'm not sure if you know them, but it's a couple, Deval and Kadeen. Deval plays on a show called Sisters, and his wife is like a model slash makeup artist. They're born and raised in Brooklyn, couple right from New York. Humble beginnings, lived in an apartment in Brooklyn with their three sons in a two-bedroom, just doing skits, going day by day. The husband wanted to be an actor. The wife supported his dreams. They moved to Atlanta, and now he's one of the biggest stars within Tyler Perry production. She just did a Netflix movie with Christina Milian, and I'd like to use him as an example because she supported him through in and throughout, and vice versa. I mean, when they first met, he was a NFL star who ultimately didn't get to do what he wanted to do, and he put all his money in investments and ultimately lost it. So it was up to his wife, Kadeen, to make sure she supported them as a makeup artist, a celebrity makeup artist, and made connections through her community to make sure that when it was his time to flourish, that he was able to do that. And I like to use them as an example because now they're, Van Cleefed out, $1 million home, kids in basketball doing what they need to do. And it makes me think, if it was any other person, right? Any other couple that really had to sit down and really had to formulate a plan to be successful together, 9 times out of 10 in this generation, it would falter. It wouldn't be anything. but to be able to see them grow and prosper within that light. And this is someone who I followed since 20, probably like 2018, to see all they're doing in 2024, just 6 years later, shows when you have the right person on your side and you have the right support system, anything is accomplishable.
Hmm.
Anything could be accomplished. And that's what I feel like people should be looking for in their partners moving forward. And unfortunately, they're not. So these are things that are just always so shocking within what it is people want to do. And unfortunately, they're not able to because they don't know themselves. So
Right.
that's what I will always say before getting into a relationship. Know yourself, know what you bring to the table, know what you want. If you want a woman making 6 figures a year, make sure you're exuding that. Make sure you look like a 6 figure, inner.
Yeah.
But vice
Six figure
versa.
man. That's right.
Yeah. But also for the man, the women, if you are this top quality lady and you know that what you bring to the table is more than sunshine and lady parts, make sure that that's something that you're making sure is known. I know so many women who keep it up front. We can date, we can go on a date, we could get to know each other, but that's about it. If I don't see you as a person who I can take serious, there won't be a date after this. And, I always clap for that person because I don't have to, I guess appeal to normal dating standards, especially if I'm not being intimate with people. But in the same breath, I can have my fun and be open to various people until I find what it is I want. I don't think that should be vilified as far as, next steps within dating. If you date multiple people, date them. But now when you're talking about being sexually active or using people, that's where I draw the line. But if you're getting to know people, you're going on dates, you're like, all right, I'm paying for this one, or I'm gonna let him pay for this one, or thank you for your time, and you're being the most upfront you can be. I don't find an issue with it. But now when you're using people with those dine and dash bitches, excuse my language, but the girls
No,
just
you good. You
using men
good.
for food, I'm not there for that. I'm not there for that. And vice
Listen,
versa.
I'm
Men using women for money either. Like, ew.
yeah. I'm
Stop
not
using
I'm
people
not
for
there for
money.
that either. That's why I've just
Yeah.
been chilling. Like, look, I'm not here for nobody using if we gotta build each other up, that's what we need. We can't be having these people just use the
It's
motherfuckers
true.
because hey, listen, that's why I'm going another year. If I go around family, hey, it'll be another year me not having nobody. It is what it is. I'm not tripping about that
No,
because a lot
and
of these
trust.
motherfuckers are just using people. So
Yes, and it's so crazy because there's so many people like even in college, I knew this girl who was celibate. Like she met a guy in college, he did her filthy and she was just like, I'm not dating anybody until I'm in a bubble where I feel comfortable enough, opening myself up like that again. And she abstained for 6+ years, decided to go heavy on her schoolwork, her running, did her, her 9 yards. I mean, not 9 yards, but ultimately did her 10 yards, whatever she needed to do in life. And she wound up meeting her husband. They just got married last year. And she's loving life, she's not in a bubble where she had to compromise. Her partner, had conversations about, just being open about what it is they wanted, and they were able to get married within 3, 4 years of dating each other. And I think that's important. When you meet somebody who you can really formulate a plan with within life and really have the same goals aligned within anything it is that you want to do, you will find your person. But if you're out here, not being straightforward with people, not really being open from the first time you meet them or the second time or, even the 85th time, whatever have you, then you'll never find your person because you're going to be fearful of what you bring to the table. When I met my partner, I was super upfront. I'm like, hey, listen, like, I've dated before you. I was talking to people before you. Not that I was open ended and just out here frivolous, but being open to the point where it was, I'm talking to people. And at the time I was upfront. I have 3 degrees. I'm a very educated girly, very knowledgeable, have a very vast background in communications. I knew that the person I would want to talk to, as far as like relating to me, would be somebody who's very creative and similar to me, but also somebody who's a complete opposite of me. So I don't feel like there's anything. competition wise, or if I'm doing my lane, I have my lane and that person has their lane. My partner works in construction. He's a blue collar worker. And when I first met him, I didn't understand what that was. I didn't know what construction was. I didn't know what HVAC was. I didn't know what piping and all of these things were. But being able to learn more about my partner, him being upfront about his passion in that industry, it allowed me to connect with a person on passion and what it is they love to do versus saying, oh, I need somebody who's a creative just like me. And God forbid, not relating to them at all, you know? So these are just things that you need to talk about with a partner or someone you want to be your partner before going forward and continue that pursuit. But yeah, I mean, good Godspeed and good luck to the people who are,
Yeah.
dating in this area and trying to find their person, or, continuously trying to live with their person in a world where everybody's so for themselves. But if I could give any advice to the men and women out there, just don't lead with money. We all got money. We all have this area where we could blow the bank and, impress women or men who are dating with that element. But if you really want to find somebody and really be in this bubble of relating to your person, get to know them. Be in a bubble where you really get to see what your partner is like. But
Yes.
that's what
Yeah.
comes with, that
That's
comes with the territory.
For real. Well said, well spoken. I definitely agree with all those points. You gotta know what you're getting yourself into with this person.
Very
Ask
true.
the right questions before you tie down and commit to somebody. So, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to everybody that's out there still checking in, still tapping in with the liquor talk. These are the conversations we have today. Shan. So my last question for you is, why do the people need to subscribe to the Chantizzy podcast?
Man, I mean, you've heard me this whole past hour just talking and being myself. I feel like that's something I bring to my platform, but I also love to hear people's views. We're not biased. You should listen to the Chantizzy podcast because we love all views. We love them all unfiltered, we love them all unedited, and we love them straight to the point, right? We love to have many different opinions, appeals, views, standpoints, and, we don't judge. I feel like my platform brings it's something very similar to the liquor talks, just being super comfortable, very conversational and informal, just making sure your guests feel as comfortable as possible. And I mean, if you're listening to the Liquor Talks podcast, I mean, I can't relate as far as how dope this one is, this platform, but I definitely can agree that my platform brings something very similar, and that's that conversational aspect and getting right to the point and being real, from New York, New Yorkers, we keep it a buck. We say it like it is. So I definitely think I bring that element too within my platform. So just go listen. I'm not selling this to y'all. Y'all go listen. Y'all go pour up a nice mimosa with 3% orange juice, and y'all tune in to hearing, some unfiltered views on everything. I mean, racism, pregnancy, childbirth, the notion of who we are in this society. I mean, we talk about it all, man. I even like to talk about the aliens, if they exist. So definitely love to keep that open and that view unobstructed, excuse me, not obstructed. We're not your government.
Yes. We're not the government. Well, Shan, I want to thank you for blessing the Liquor Talk with your
Thank
presence
you
as
for having me.
well.
I had such a good
Um,
time.
Listen, anytime you need to have me on again, and remember, I'm in Florida, but I'm just a DM away. So anytime you need to have me on
Absolutely.
again, you let me know. We'll make it happen. And thank you, grown folks, for checking out the Liquor Talk podcast. Thank you for everybody that checked out the Liquor Talk, whether it's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube. Please tell us what the hell you thought of this episode. We definitely want to hear it. And until the next episode, we're out this thing. Keep pouring up that liquor and keep tapping in with the podcast that's taking over for the 24 and the 2025. Man, fuck Project 2025. We're still taking over. Liquor Talk all 2025. We're out this thing, y'all. Peace.
Thank you, VJ. Thank
Yes.
you
Thank you.
so much. I had such